Come take a trip in my airship. Come take a sail among the stars. Come have a ride around Venus. Come have a spin around Mars. Show us to us while we're giddy. Show us to see while we school. Come take a trip in my airship and we'll visit the man in the moon.
Greetings, loyal airmen, and welcome to another Airship 27 podcast, number 102. And as ever, joining me is our chief engineer, Mr. Rob Davis.
Hey. Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to another crazy episode where we'll give you probably an hour that you can't ever get back. So, but anyway, we should probably start off with the sad news that we got. We're going to say goodbye to our longtime friend Jamie Ramos. We'll take a few minutes to bid farewell to Jamie here and inform folks about our putting together his final anthology. And then we'll end from an excerpt from his obituary. You have anything you want to say about Jamie?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Before I read that.
Yeah, this one touches me really deeply and personally. I mean, and you and I have mentioned this in past episodes before. As we age, all right, it's just these kind of things are just too common, right?
Yeah,
we start losing more and more of our friends. All right, and the new pulp community over the last 5 years has lost some amazing, really great people, and it hurts every time we do. Well, Jamie is now the latest. He was a writer, an editor, really gifted. When Tommy Hancock got sick all those years ago, it was Jamie who came up with the idea of let's do an anthology and help him with his medical bills. That's who Jamie was. All right. He was always thinking about other people or whatever. And I got to tell you, Rob, about, 3 or 4, maybe 4 days when he made the decision that he was all done fighting. All right. And I mean, after years of it. All right. And was basically deciding, with his wife that he was going into hospice. He sends me a message basically telling me that and thanking me for my friendship.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep a dry eye, buddy. I mean, I immediately, wrote him back and told him that the honor and privilege had been all mine. All right. I was just an editor, colleague, and whatever. All right. But that we would sorely miss him. Okay. So days go by and our fellow colleagues, Nancy Hansen, Teal James, Glenn, Wayne Carey, all of them, they belong to this special writers group. They'd meet once a week on the old YouTube. So what happens is Jamie passes. About a day and a half go by, and Teal writes me to tell me that prior to his, quitting writing when he couldn't do it anymore, last year and early side of this year, he had gotten all of these guys from this writing group to do a collective anthology based on a fictional city called Golgotha, which he created, and then created a character, then invited his fellow writers to write stories that take place in this fictional city. Well, they all went and did it. They had, I believe, another publisher in mind, but towards the end, after the stories, were finally all gathered, the project fell apart. That the publisher wasn't on board, and that's when Jamie's health started taking a turn for the worse, and it was put away. So now here's Teal knocking on my door and saying, would you like to look at it, Ron? He goes, I'm not asking for a commitment or anything, and I'm like, yeah, please.
Yes.
Send me what you have. All right. So sure enough, he personally went through all the stories, saw they were formatted properly, and then sent me everything. It didn't take me more than an hour looking through the various files and whatever and realizing Jamie had put together a heck of an anthology. And there was no way Airship 27 was not going to pick up this torch and publish this in his memory. To that end, I got a hold of all the writers on board and I put out this offer to all of them. if you want to be a part of this, if we go ahead, I'm going to reread the stories, which I've been now doing, okay, and edit them, put them together. I'm going to get a hold of Rob, who handle the artwork and whatever. If you're all on board, what I would personally like to do is after we put it out there, any proceeds, profits, whatever you want to call them, from the sale of this book, which will now is going to be called Jamie Ramos's Streets of Golgotha, all right, all of which will go to his widow, Phyllis Clare, and his son, Thomas. Every one of them got back to me before the end of the day, thanked me, and said, we're all on board. So that's where we're at, Loyal Airmen. We are putting together what's going to be a really personal book project for me and Rob. Probably get it out at the start of next year because our plate
is it's not full at all. No,
not at all. And we will do a little bit more talking about that towards the end of the show, right, and reiterating and reminding some of you of what's going to happen come December 31st.
Yeah, and specifically tell people that what everyone thinks is going to happen is not what's going to happen. Everybody thinks we're going to close up shop completely. That's not what's happening. I'll state that right up front. We'll say more later, but
don't panic.
We are not closing. No, we are
panic.
Not closing up shop. Whatever we have in house right now is going to get done. Again, we'll talk more about it later. But anyway, yeah, and I wasn't as close a friend of Jamie's as you were. I essentially became a friend through you rather than any kind of direct connection. And I'm trying to think if I ever even met him in person. And he only lived half a state away from me. He was like a 2 or 3 hour drive away, but he and I never got to meet in person. So
I think you did, because
that's possible, but I don't remember.
Let me reiterate.
Please.
After we published Legends of Pulp Fiction, that giant tome that was a benefit book for Tommy,
the doorstop, as I call it.
The following Windy City, they planned a panel for us about that. And Jamie was there. Tommy was there. Doug Klaba was there. We sat on that panel explaining why this giant anchor was made. And Jamie was there at Windy City. So somewhere in that weekend, I would have introduced him to you. You would have met him at least once.
Yeah, I was not on the panel because somebody had to watch the tape. Somebody had to watch the table. So so I was in watching the table while you were doing that. Probably made a couple of sales even while you were gone. But who knows? We always make, when you guys come back from a panel, we always, some of those folks come by the table.
Right.
And we usually sell something. But yeah, it must have been a pretty brief,
probably,
because I am not, as I get older, my memory's not as good as it used to be.
How many people do we meet at these shows?
Oh, and that's another thing. But I know what Jamie looks like. I've seen his picture over and over again. So I think after the panel, I think he did come by the table and you introduced him. But I don't know that he stayed around all that long.
Right.
So I didn't get to talk to him much.
I have no other, real memories of that at all.
I don't have much memory other than maybe being introduced to him. But other than that, I didn't know him very well. But still, hearing the news was a blow. Even though he wasn't a close friend of mine, I'm going, well, here's a guy we worked with, and now he's gone. We're not going to be able to do anything with him from now on. But now this comes along, and well, yes, we are. We are going to be doing something with him. So
why don't you read the obit that I found, and after you're done, I will launch the bad joke of the month.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe, hopefully it will cheer us up a little. Although with your jokes, who knows? All right. Jamie Eduardo Ramos, affectionately known as Dad, Honey, Beto, and Jimmy, passed at the age of 57. Man, that's young. At home on September 30th, 2025. Enduring a long and courageous battle with chronic illness, he fought against all odds until he could fight no more. He persevered when everything was stacked against him. Now he may rest in heaven, whole, once again and at peace.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie, take care. Hopefully someday we'll all meet together in that big bullpen in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of us.
Yeah. Some of us
I don't
might.
know about this guy. All right.
Yeah. I might not make it. Who knows?
And
I've been a bad boy. as Costello
All right.
used to say, I think.
here we go. Here we
All
go.
right.
Number one bad joke of this episode, and probably very fitting. All right. This is the Halloween season, the location of this joke. And I got to warn all our loyal airmen, it's getting harder and harder to dig up these jokes, only because we've used tons of them. A lot of people are, and they keep repeating. This one is an oldie. It goes back, it was dated online as 2016. But when I read it, I didn't remember it quite. So I said, you know what? We're going to take a shot at this. So, like the guy said, a good joke is worth repeating.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that earlier today. And as a matter of fact, that we may have to start repeating because the really, really good jokes are few and far between. But go ahead.
Here we go. It was St. Paddy's Day in Ireland, and two Irishmen were drunk trying to make their way home. They decided to take a shortcut through the graveyard. Walking along, one of them tripped on a root. As he fell down, his buddy looked at him, right, and said, "Paddy, are you all right?" Paddy started to climb up holding the gravestone and said, "Mick, look at this. Would you look at it? This fella here was 90 years old when he died." "Who's that?" said Mick. "Somebody called O'Toole from Kerry." Mick says, "Never heard of him. Here's a fella over here right across the way. His name is Murphy. He was 99 when he died, from Castletown of all places." "Well, that's nothing," says Paddy. "What about what's written on this fellow's stone? Here, this laddie beside this gate. It says 147. "Whoa, 147? That's amazing," Mick replied. "Who was he?" "Well, according to this stone, he's somebody called Miles from Dublin."
That's pretty funny because guess my middle name is Miles. So I'm always telling people I have the longest name in the English language. Miles between my first and last name.
That's I like that. That's as good as the joke, Rob. All right. Good one. All right.
Okay. All right. So
we actually put out a bunch of books since we
did, and you missed one. I had to add one on here that you missed.
Oh, okay. Well,
all
thank
right.
you.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, well, I've been a little preoccupied lately, and we'll get to that as well too.
A little.
So why don't you start with the one I missed? And then we'll go with
okay. Well, it's actually a follow-up to the second one you've got on the list. So
okay.
We put out two of those. We put out. I'll just go ahead.
Okay.
We did, and I'll give both of them. Okay. Secret Agent Volume Number 1. That's a reprint edition, back in print, as I call it. Answering the request of a fan, we've once again made this early book available in paperback, along with its Kindle edition on Amazon. Note, it is clearly marked reprint edition, and I've dressed it up a bit on the cover to reflect that. It features the same original 4 stories by Kevin Noel Olson, Andrew Salmon, Brian Meredith, and the late Mark Justice. And at the same time, the fan also requested that we do volumes 2 and 3. I haven't got 3 done, but we redid number 2, and it's back. It's our back in print edition, and the description on it says, "When America's enemies threaten, the man of 1,000 faces is on call to defend and protect her against all foes." 4 new thrill-packed adventures written by Sean Ellis, G.L. Gick, Kevin Noel Olson, and B.C. Bell, with art by yours truly. Pulp action at its finest. So that's the one you missed.
You know what? I didn't.
You didn't
see
notice that we had done that one as well. I
No,
may not have. I may have forgotten to tell you about it because you were. I think when it happened, you were in the midst of what you're talking about later. So, but
yeah, well, I mean,
both of those are out, and I'm slowly working on volume 3. So that I don't remember which fan it is exactly, but if you're listening right now, I'm working on 3 as we speak. It's being kind of wedged in between everything else.
Okay, do me a favor, and when you have, later on, send me a copy of that redone cover for the reprint, because again, I didn't see it, and I do want to promote it.
Yeah, I know it. I know it went up on online on Facebook somewhere because we had one fan say something derogatory about the cover. So,
Gee, thanks.
And I just went, well, thanks.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, they can't all be 100% winners.
I wish.
I wish. Yeah, I wish too. But that okay. Right. So you read the first one, and then I'll jump down and pick up the one after that.
All right. So at long last, we did get out Beyond 30, the long forgotten classic by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and it's the master of adventure, as he was aptly called. Which is, the book was in public domain. And so Rob did a great job of producing it, designing it, doing both the cover illustration and the interior illustrations. And this was all prompted by a Harding McFadden's sequel, which is in our files. And eventually I've read it, edited it, will eventually be published. But I mean, hey, having an Edgar Rice Burroughs title with an Airship 27 imprint. I mean, I could not have been happier, believe me.
Yeah, it was when it went to Amazon, when it went to KDP, where we the process we go through to get our books published. This one was a pain in the rear because it's the first time we dealt with a public domain book, and I didn't realize some of the stumbling blocks that would be put in the way by Amazon, because they're very particular that you list it a certain way, that you add things to it that make it different from anything else that's out there using that public domain. And so I mean, we did everything, but we didn't list it on the description. So I had to go in and change all that, and there was just a lot of problems with getting this one out there. But it's out there now, and hopefully we shouldn't have trouble with the sequel to it, of any kind. And now I have a better idea. If we decide to do another public domain book of some kind, and we've talked about doing a couple, then I will at least know what hoops I'll have to jump through the next time. But it was, to be honest, it was kind of a pain in the butt. But sometimes our books they just stumbling blocks pop up. So anyway, next on the list is and I'm hoping I pronounce this correctly, because we stumble over this every time. The Paralipomena of Sherlock Holmes. I think that's right. But
wow.
Paralipomena. Paralipomena. That's how it's spelled. So that's how.
I mean, I hope I never get that. I mean, this is
whatever it is. I hope it's not catching. A new collection of Ian Watson stories with illustrations by yours truly, and a cover by the new artist Dr. John. And I'm going to mispronounce this for sure, but I think it's Weltz.
I agree.
I think it's Weltz from the way it's spelled. Waeltz. So correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but yeah. That I believe it's Weltz, and it's a gentleman we actually met at Windy City a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And he's a self-taught artist, and he's got a really distinctive style. He's got a really good color sense. For a self-taught artist, he's very talented. He's a former obstetrician, I believe, OBGYN. So. I think he's retired now, because I read the bio that he wrote for this, and he's a retired OBGYN, and now he wants to become an artist illustrator. So, and he's well on his way to being very good at it. So, but Dr. Welts, we welcome you to the pulp world.
Amen. Yeah, it was a boon. I remember sitting there, next to you at the table in Windy City when he opened up his portfolio and showed us that Sherlock Holmes piece. And my eyes popped out and I went, is that a Sherlock Holmes painting? And we both immediately said, okay, that's going to be on a future cover that we put out. And he was tickle pink. He was just like, yeah, all right, terrific.
Now, unfortunately, he didn't realize it wouldn't be right away. He was, but because it takes a while, the whole process on these books, it takes a while for us to get around to them. And this was just before we were starting to work on Consulting Detective number 20, which we were going to make look like the old magazine.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And so, yeah, so we had that, and we had some other stuff in the way, but we finally got to this book, and we went, okay, perfect place for us to put this for him. And so, and I did the interior illustrations, but Dr. Waltz did the cover, and it's check it out on Amazon because I will put it in the end credits part so you can take a look at it. But it's incredible for a self-taught artist. He's got a very distinctive style.
I'm quite taken with his talent, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, hopefully it's not going to be the one and only cover he does for us. Okay.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be somebody, it's going to depend on what the title is, what the subject matter is, and stuff like that. I'll be in touch with him. We'll talk. I'll, feel, get a sense of what he feels, he likes to, draw, to color, to paint. And from that, maybe start hooking him up with other projects that we have in the files that we as yet don't have cover pieces for. Because, man, anytime we can get an actual, acrylic or oil painted cover, it's to our benefit. All right. It really makes the books look really, sharp and attractive. And it's exactly what a cover is supposed to be. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
He pulled it off. Yep.
He did.
So anyway, that's okay. Next one there, Ron. It's your turn.
Yeah. And so the latest book that we got out, and that was just the start of this week. In fact, I believe that we got.
Yeah, we're recording this on the 30th of October.
Yeah. It was
2025.
Yeah. Book Hunters Senior by Barbara Duran with illustrations by Gary Cotto and a cover by Guy Davis. This is the third book in this fantasy series about Chinese magic. And I was really tickled pink that we got to keep the same art team. Barbara is of Chinese descent herself. So most of the stuff that she's written for us, with a few exceptions, she's done a Sherlock Holmes story in the past and a couple of other things. But most of her work deals with Chinese mythology, Chinese magic, and those kind of things. And she's really gifted at doing that. So from the first one, we've done things like the Golden Dragon, Wu Dang, the Traveler. And when she started Book Hunters, I immediately went to get Gary Cotto. Gary's of Japanese descent, all right, and grew up in Hawaii and is familiar with Oriental art as far as manga and drawings and stuff from the Far East. So he seemed a perfect choice, and he adapted to her, interpreting her stories extremely well. And lo and behold, who lives here in Colorado, but my buddy and artist pal, Guy Davis, who spent like a couple of years as an exchange student in Japan, all right, and is himself an artist and writer and whatever. I invited him on board to do the cover based on one of Gary's illustrations, and now they've done 3 books together as a team with Barbara. The books are a blast. Again, this is number 3, available at Amazon, paperback and Kindle, and you can get the first 2 there. And I would strongly urge you, punch her name in the Google search part or the search part on Amazon to see what other books she's done. You will absolutely love it. There you go. All right.
So,
what is coming?
Well, what to look forward to. The new Persona novel by Michael Housel is still in production, as is a great Mystery Men and Women anthology. all coming your way before the year is out. I'm in the. What am I working on right now?
You're working on the next. No, you're working on the next Jezebel Johnson.
That's it. Yep, because I just started reading it yesterday. I have just done the layout.
I think it's volume 11.
No, it's number 10.
Okay,
it's number 10, which is really interesting because I was at a 1-day show in St. Charles, Missouri, which is about a 2-hour drive east of where I live, and there was a young lady who came up. And since I'm 71, anyone under the age of 60 is a young lady to me. But because I don't know how old she was, but anyway, she was a young lady. She comes up to the table, and I took the box that has all of our overstock because I thought there's $4 a pop. Somebody might be interested in them. Well, one of the books in there is Jezebel Johnston, and I had like several of them. There were one or two copies of like the first 8 volumes. And she picked it up and we started talking about it. She goes, I got to have this. And she's going, well, how many are there? And I'm going, well, okay, there's 9 of them. And I'll be working on 10 before long. And she and somehow we got around to the fact that they were in omnibuses too. 1 through 4 is in one and 5 through 8 is in the other. And she goes, oh, I'm going to get those. And she goes, well, that's 1 through 8. You've got number 9 right here too. Well, let me get this one, and then I'll go get the omnibuses off of Amazon. I went, great, perfect.
Do it.
So, and now we've got number 10 in process. So she'll have something else to look forward to for here pretty soon. So yeah. So we're on the way.
It's obvious. I mean, I remember being, every time we put out a new one, I see comments from her fans who are following this series, okay, and waiting, really anxiously for each new volume she puts out, all right? And I mean, it was a point where I think when we were getting to like 7 or 8 in the story, and I was wondering myself how much longer, she wanted to keep it going. So we talked writer, editor, right? And I made, an assumption that she was going to wrap it up. But Nancy properly corrected me and said, no, there's a lot more of this story to tell. And which I said, well, keep writing. Go right ahead, all right? Yeah. I mean, for those of you who not picked up a single one, let me tell you, Nancy's research on the pirate culture of this time in world history is meticulous, all right? And she sets her fiction against it. Whereas the story is about a young mulatto girl. Her mother is a worker who runs a bordello on one of the islands, and her father was a roving British pirateer who finally abandoned the family and took off, leaving Jess to want to follow in his footsteps. So at the young age of 14, she disguises herself as a boy and gets herself signed on a pirate ship heading out. And that's how the saga begins. And for the next, 8 to 9 volumes, you watch her grow. You watch her learn pirate ways and codes. You meet a slew of amazing characters, dastardly villains, the empires of the world of that. It's amazing. And you get to, I think, number 9, which is when she finally, as a young lady now, all right, and
that's called Captain Johnston.
Right. And everybody knows she's a female pirate queen. Oh, man, I love this series. So, hey, if that's the kind of romance and action high adventure you enjoy, all right, head over to Amazon and check out Jezebel Johnson by Nancy Hansen. I guarantee you will be happy you did. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
So let's go back to what else you had ended with.
It says remind one and all that new submissions in on December 31st. That's on your list. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so
we need to talk about that because it's coming now. It's just around the corner as another 24 hours.
Yeah, we're 30. We were on October 30th, and that's not that far.
No,
as fast as the time passes. for us whole
we
parts.
got 2 months left, and I got to tell you, some of our writers who not so much panicked but paid attention. I have been inundated with submissions and scripts. They're all trying to get them under the wire. Okay, and you know what?
And that's fine.
Hey,
that's, that's perfect.
We're playing fair. We're playing fair, and that's totally 100% fair. Okay, and basically, the kicker is we're looking at 2026 as an opportunity for Rob and I to catch our breaths, and 2, for me to start going through the files and see what we need to clear up those files. Books that have been languishing, more anthologies than anything else, for a year, 2 years, or whatever, because I'm missing one story or somebody's promised me a story, I haven't gotten it yet. So trust me, some of you who owe me tales, I am going to be banging on your doors next year. I want what's in the files gone by the end of 2026. I doubt it'll be possible. We may have to carry this into 2027.
I'm guessing we will.
The point being is I am not opening submissions until we have cleaned up the backlog. When the backlog is done and there is nothing on our table, Rob and I are going to sit down and talk, and then we'll make a statement to the effect of what we're opening up for, what we're looking for. It's going to be a much narrower, door, if you will. There are certain titles and series we want to continue. Mm-hmm. We will be open to listening to your pitches, all right? But there are also series that we are wrapping up, and we're even doing that right now, okay? I just received a submission for a second Purple Scar novella. Okay. Now I already had one in the files by Gene Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I've got a second novella that fills Purple Scar Volume
There's a book.
5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm putting out the word. We're going to get that book done. And when it's done, that's it. No more Purple Scar. Okay. We'll have done 5 volumes. If you're a big fan, check them out on Amazon.
Write a novel. If you're a big fan and want to write a novel, because that's what we're going to emphasize after all the anthologies wrap up. We're going to go to novels.
Yeah, it's much easier for us to deal with them, to produce them, for me to edit them, to find artwork for them, for Rob to assemble them, put them together, and get it on Amazon. But doing anthologies is almost 3-4 times the labor than doing it.
Yeah, it's another third because we do 9 illustrations for
novels and 12 or more sometimes for anthologies.
Yeah. So that's that much more work and have to run down that much more to get it all wrapped up. And it's also more bookkeeping because you've got 4 different writers involved. So it's just we're wanting to just narrow it down and simplify it just a little bit. And getting rid of most of the anthologies is going to be part of that. Now, Consulting Detective, it does so well for us, and we love doing it that we will continue doing that one for sure. So
right, exactly. Yeah. In fact, just recently, in the last, I want to say 4 or 5 months, I've literally gotten a new British writer who's already given me 2 new Sherlock Holmes stories, Rob, which I'm slotting for future volumes. All right, which is the next one you will be handling will be volume 21.
Yep.
And I believe it's almost done. And I'm looking at assembling and putting works into 22. But I told this particular fellow just what you just said. We're not stopping Sherlock Holmes. It's just too popular. Everybody loves it.
We love doing it. The writers love doing it.
Right.
And that was one of the ones everyone was going, oh, you're going to stop doing that one? No. That one we're sticking with. Yeah.
Okay. Another we will most likely pick up again, but pick up after the cleanup, the great cleanup, will most likely be Bass Reeves' Frontier Lawman.
Yeah.
For the same reason, the popularity of the character in the series. Okay. Now, one anthology that isn't so much about one character, but for whatever reason is hit a bullseye with all of you, our loyal fans. That's Mystery Men and Women.
Yeah.
You guys love that series. All right. And every time we put out a new volume. There's a huge applause. Sales are great. And then a demand for when's the next one coming out. And we've had the fun of introducing brand new pulp characters to the new pulp world. So most likely that'll stick around. Beyond those 3 titles, nothing is safe and nothing is guaranteed.
No, well, I mean, that's what we'll be talking about when we get around to the end of the year when we've hopefully cleaned out the closet. I've even proposed that if we have toward the end of the year, if we don't have a full anthology's worth of a particular character, then we can assemble a collection of all the ones we just have maybe 1 or 2 of, and throw that into a new anthology, Tales of Airship 27 or something like that.
Yeah,
we haven't decided exactly what we're calling it, but that's essentially what we'll be doing to kind of clean out the closet completely of all those kinds of stories. So look for that. Look for us to talk about that sometime in the next year as well. Yeah. So, but we're not going out of business. We're not closing the doors. We have a French door and we're closing one of them. We're just slowing down the traffic coming in. That's what we're doing, so we can control it a little bit better. But we're neither Ron nor I are spring chickens anymore. You see the white hair here, or the lack of it here. So exactly.
So so that's a perfect segue into another topic that I really wanted to get into. Okay, there were 2 factors going into why Ron right now is buried and behind the 8 ball. Oh, holy smokes. Okay. And that's last week. I came home from a 2.5-week vacation. Valerie, my wife, and I went back to East Maine to visit family and friends and enjoy some amazing seafood. And again, just visit, family and friends and just chill out. Didn't bring any work with me at all. All right. And I'll discuss that. I left most of the stuff behind, asked all my fellow, artists, and I'm working on comic projects. Please, please, please do not send anything till I get home. So for 2.5 weeks, I chilled out. And not only from Airship 27 or writing or the comic projects, but keep in mind, all right, if you haven't heard yet, and I'd be surprised if you hadn't, prior to that vacation, I had just wrapped up 6 weeks of radiation from a mastectomy, which I had prior to that, having come down with breast cancer. Okay. So working with my oncologist and her team, we had all planned out a program for what we were going to do post radiation, post those 6 weeks. But she kindly said, you and your wife go off to Maine. Don't worry about anything. When you come back, we will deal with that. We'll get together and we'll start making a plan. Okay. So it's pretty much what happened. We come back last week from our vacation, which was heaven sent, sat down, relaxed, and within a day, I've got artwork coming in. I've got scripts coming in. Everybody's flooding me, all right, which, okay, fine. But at the same time, all right, Valerie's, getting all these appointments from all these different doctors. We meet this past week with my chief oncologist. And in that 1-hour meeting, I think Rob, she set up something like, 12 to 15 appointments for the month of November. Everything from blood work to bone density scans to, this and that. I've already begun taking one of the pills that I am going to be taking for the next 10 years. All right. It's this plan is a prohibitive plan of somehow or other keeping my testosterone level down. Because what we're starting to learn now in cancer, all right, is that in women, an increase of estrogen has been linked to creating cancer. In men, it's testosterone. All right. We want to keep those hormones down. So this pill regimen I'm on, again, the first pill I've now started taking. All right. And knock on wood, I haven't had any of what they list as the half a dozen side effects. All right. So good diet, Val's taking good care of me. I'm still exercising, doing those things. It's going well. I am going to be on another one starting on the 14th of November because I'm scheduled for a convention in Denver next weekend. So wisely, again, talking with my oncologist, said, can I hold off till I come back from the con? Because, again, I'm doing all right with pill number 1. Now we add number 2, and it has its own list.
Of course it does.
Oh,
there is not a medication in this world that doesn't have a side effect.
Oh. But you know what pricks my ears? When it says diarrhea. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So we're not even going to we're not going to get anywhere near that till after I come home from the con. The last thing I need to be doing at a con is go, excuse me, con. All right. Yeah. No, not happening. All right.
Yeah.
So here we go, right? For the most part, and I thank the good Lord. All right. I am doing physically great. I really am. And for all you loyal airmen out there, and I know so many of you have been wishing me well throughout this entire process and saying prayers and really, really being super supportive. And I thank all of you immeasurably. All right. I want this to continue. At the same time, I'm trying to juggle all these doctor visits, hospital visits. I mean, it's like every 2 weeks I have to give blood work so that they keep a baseline to see what's happening.
So the vampires have to get to you. Jeez. One of my least favorite things is to have blood drawn.
Yeah, well, I'm getting used to it, buddy. It's getting to be secondary.
Just have them put a line in and you just walk in. Okay, here you go.
Can I give you a pint today and use it for the rest of the month?
Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, what happens, that just pushes every editing thing I'm doing, every writing thing I'm doing. We wrapped up our quarterly report a couple of weeks ago, and it's put me way behind the 8 ball getting out the royalty checks for our last fiscal quarter. And if any of you, Airship 27 writer creators are now watching this, please bear with me. I'm trying to squirrel away at least an hour a day just to work on that. I put everything aside 1 hour a day. I'm hopefully going to have it out by mid-November. But then again, we're going to go November, December. We'll hit January, and we'll have another quarterly. So again, it's like it piles up, it piles up, it piles up.
The avalanche continues. Yes,
right. You mean I don't need a break come the 1st of January? Oh, do we need a break? All right, and then just try to make things much more streamlined, make things much more practical for both Rob and myself, to be able to do these projects without going absolutely bananas, making tons of mistakes. When you rush things, when you try to make ridiculous deadlines is when you make mistakes, when you file things up and whatever.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yep. Fortunately, knock on wood, I have no major health issues of my own, but I'm 71 years old and I'm going to start having them. So far so good, but it's as you get older you start having the pieces start falling off.
Okay,
you're like an old car.
Okay.
The door rusts and falls off. Stuff happens.
So get ready. You're gonna love this. I guarantee you. You get okay. Prior to all of this, once I'd gone through the mastectomy, the cancer thing, and came through it, and now we're dealing with all this and whatever. Prior to all this, at one point, Val and I had sat down and talked about the fact of aging. And, we've had wills made out, but we hadn't done any funeral planning. To which point we decided, well, it's something we really should look at now. All right.
Yeah.
Because at one time we'd had an idea of how we wanted to do something when we initially made out our will and we got to Colorado 18 years ago, whereas those thoughts have changed. And we have other thoughts that we're probably going to change a little bit, but it was a case of we need to see a funeral home or whatever, because they have things like pre-planning, and we should look at those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Well, the last time a local funeral home sent out flyers to people in the city that they were having one of these things, and they have them like at local restaurants. They feed you, they give you, and then they explain what they offer and all this good stuff. Okay, it's a marketing gimmick, all right, but you get a free meal out of it, and you learn things. Well, as it turns out, we couldn't do it because it was happening when we were going back home on vacation, and so we had to cancel. We're not back home 3 days, and they're doing it again. They're doing it. Rob, you are going to die. They're doing it next Wednesday. So I says to Valerie, I says, look, and I think it's called dignity, planning or something to that, romantic, right? Planning with dignity or whatever. I said, look, the funeral home's doing this thing again. So Valerie goes, well, get online and get us a place. See if we can get a pass. They aren't full, right? So I did. Sure enough, I got us tickets, all right? And it's being held at a local steakhouse next Wednesday at noontime. We're getting a free steak meal while they get up. And one of the things they're going to talk about, Rob, which really perked my interest, being a veteran, is they're going to explain all the veterans benefits I have and what the government will pay in regards to my funeral, expenses, and hers as well as my spouse. That could save us a lot of money.
Yeah, they'll purchase I believe there's part of the budget for veterans is a headstone. My father's got one that's got his Air Corps. He got his through the Air Corps that he served in during World War II, and it's got his dates of birth and death on there, and it was, and my mother's was right next to his. So yeah, I think they pay partial fee for some of that. There's a cemetery that my mother's family is in that several of the headstones there are of a similar type, and I'm sure they were paid for by the VA or by veterans. Okay. And so that's one of them.
We're all set.
That's one of them.
All right. I start to walk out of the room, and Valerie goes, "Oh, by the way," she says, "Wednesday, you said, right?" I said, "Yeah, right."
Oh no.
She says, "That's your birthday."
Oh no! Yeah, you're going to talk about your birthday and your death day on the same day.
On my birthday, I'm going to be sitting there listening to. Well, you can get this deluxe coffin with the satin pillows. It's like, yeah. Tell me, God doesn't have the sense of humor, Rob. All right. Well, I mean, he's up there going.
He made me, so he had to have a pretty good sense of humor. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm totally looking forward to later that night having some cake and ice cream. Okay.
after all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. Oh man.
All right. So that's what's been going on in the life of Captain Ron here, and one of the great things that happened while we were gone, which again I have to thank a lot of you out there, as Rob already knows. The Brother Bones graphic novel Kickstarter campaign reached its goal. Oh,
yes.
Blew me away. I am so grateful. I'm really excited about this. Rob's a big part of this project with me and artist Joe Arnold. And Joe is putting the final touches on the book today. All right. Yeah. He added the copyrights and indicia. I read the script yesterday, page for page. I found 5 lettering typos.
Yeah, which happens.
Yeah, we got those off to Mike Belcher, who's our letterer, and he turned those around last night, got them back to Joe this morning. So basically what's going to happen is for all of you who supported us, within the next 24 hours, Joe is going to be sending out PDFs. Everyone who contributed, regardless of what you contributed, will be getting a PDF of the entire book. All right. Then within the next week and a half, we'll be sending out hard copies. And some of those I will be autographing for people. So again, thanks so much. That was really great.
And since I did, what was it, a 6-page or 8-page story? It was an 8-page story.
6-page.
6 page.
Yeah.
2 of those pages are going to one of the supporters.
Yes.
he or she, whoever it is,
Yeah.
ask for those. So Joe is going to need to give me their address, because I will package those 2 pages up and send them off to that very lucky person. I'll sign them as well. So
I
that's
will
one of the nice
yeah.
things about these crowdfunders is that you can get original art, you can get sketches, you can get special things that you can't get from a comic book in the comic book shop. So that's one of the nice perks of that whole deal. But this one funded before the deadline too, which was I was going, wow, it's kind of slow right now, and then all of a sudden, boom, it went over the top. So,
well, 2 days before the end, right? Yeah.
So, and that happens a lot of times with those, is it gets slow toward the middle, and then suddenly toward the end, you surge right over the finish line. So, and that's
well, I mean, one of the things that I hope all of you understand is, considering the price, the goal that Joe set. Again, Joe's the primary artist of the graphic novel story. Rob did a 6-page backup, which we will have in each subsequent chapter. There'll be 4 segments of the project, and each one will have a backup by a different artist on a short that I've worked on with Joe and other guest artists or whatever. Ultimately, when those are done, hopefully, we'll have a graphic novel collection put together with everything in it. One of the reasons, again, he set that goal was some of the money you gave was not only print this first chapter, but it's going to go a long ways in helping him start putting together chapter 2, which I think he's already drawn maybe 50 to 60% of it already.
Wow. God,
Yeah,
he's so good at the game. That's great. Yeah.
It's the idea that we don't want people to sign on to this, to get a copy and go, so what am I going to do? Wait a year before I read chapter 2, No, not going to happen. All right. Fingers crossed, sometimes early next year, I'm guessing, Rob, February, March, we'll have chapter 2 ready to go.
No, that's not bad.
Yep. Kickstarter, get it out there. And then 3 and 4. And sometimes in 2026, you will have the entire Brother Bones graphic novel story. There you go.
Cool. You've been working on this for how long? Since we first started doing Brother Bones way back in the day.
Well,
this has been in the planning stages since then. And we've had artists fall off the project or get a few pages done and then have to go on and do something else. So this one's had fits and starts. So it was kind of a surprise to me when it finally did actually get an artist who was willing to put all the effort forth to get this sucker done. So yeah, all props to Mr.
Joe Arnold. To Joe Arnold. I mean,
big time.
I want to give a really shout out to another bunch of really cool creators that Rob and I are both intimately involved with. And that's Roland Mann and the Silver Line Comics crew. Okay.
Yeah.
And I say that because we're both doing projects for Roland and Silver Line, several different books. But Roland also hosts 3 different video podcasts every single week. Now, he has one on Sunday night, which not Rob, but Mike Belcher, Roland, and others. He has one on Tuesday night, which you guys recently called the Late Show, which somehow or other
for us folks in the Midwest and on the East Coast. Yeah, that's the late night. That's the late night one.
I'm involved with that, and then finally, Rob's involved with a Wednesday night episode called the Wednesday
Wham. Whammers, we call ourselves.
Hey, look, I'm telling you right now, I just personally watched the Sunday night show, which Rob did a guest cameo on. And the subject matter was red flags and green flags on how to make a pitch if you're a writer, artist, and want to do a comic book to a publisher. All right. Now, it's a great episode. Find it on YouTube. Sit down, especially if you want to get into this business. Listen to what these old pros are going to tell you. There was a line in it towards the end of the show, Rob, where I think you brought that up, or Tom Mason, about when you're making a pitch, all right, don't go to an editor or publisher and say, hey, I've got a 200-page graphic novel. What do you think of that? Right? which is like the biggest no-no in the world. Like
Yes, I have a
200
12. I
pages.
have a 12-part miniseries, and we're gonna do this and that.
Right. Okay. So
Oh,
right. So all of you chuckled. Only thing is, it got me laughing because that's how Brother Bones eventually got born, and not by intent. What had happened was over the last couple of years, I wrote the graphic novel, and it just ended up being 130 pages, which was like, oh, the kiss of death. Nobody's going to pick this up.
no, no.
And like Rob said, we had other people come on board, did 2 or 3 pages, then realized what they were looking at,
And yeah,
ran like hell.
what have I gotten myself into? 130 pages.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, what happens is 2 years ago, I'm at the Rocky Mountain Con in Denver. I'm sitting across from Joe Arnold, who's the Salt of the Year, a really great guy. And he looks at me, and I repeated the story because it shook me to the core. He goes, "So what do you got going, Ron?" I said, "Well, I've got a 130-page Brother Bones graphic novel collecting dust in my files." Really? He said, "Hey, when we get home, send me that." I think that's something I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Trust me, people, that never happens. Oh,
Yeah.
never.
No, never happens.
So I mean, right there and then I said, "Please do not be pulling my leg, okay? I can't take that. Please." He said, "Ron, no. I love that character. Send me the graphic novel. Let me read it." All right. Went home and sent it to him, totally believing he was going to get back to me and say, "Well, my time's busy, blah, 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 blah." Nope. 2 or 3 days later, he writes back and says, "I don't know how long it'll take, but I want to draw this." And thus was born the project. There
It's
you go.
kind of how Daughter of Dracula happened too. Although in trying to let you down gently by saying, "Well, I could only get a page done a week," and like a silly person, then you turned around and says, "Okay, yeah, that's fine," and I'm going, "Oh crap, he didn't reject my idea like I thought he would." So I was committed to doing that 1 page a week, but we got her done.
Yeah. I mean, almost 2 years in the making.
And it was 1 a week. If I missed a week, I'd do 2 the next.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And that's what you got. And that's the thing about being a professional in this industry, in the comics industry. If you say, don't promise something you can't do.
No, never.
That's suicide. That's gonna ruin. That's gonna make your life miserable in the industry. Because it's tough enough. Don't set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, because once you start doing that, all right, editors talk to other editors, okay, and ultimately, don't work with this guy because he can't finish a project. He promises this but doesn't deliver. And man, again, no, leave it alone. Your best bet is if you think you can't make that deadline or that end result, the project is too big. Your best bet is say, "I'm sorry, but I just can't do that," and walk away. And you'll get much better respect for being honest about what. And again, anything you do as a would-be rookie into becoming a professional is start small. You want to be a comic illustrator? Do short stories. Find out who's doing anthologies, who wants 5 or 6 pages or 8 most. Okay, and start doing those. Flex your muscles. Get people to know who you are. You deliver, and they publish your stories. All right, gradually and slowly, you'll get a book. You'll do a book. You'll do a mini series, 1 or 2 issues, or whatever. Okay, then
or you'll figure out how to. At that point, you'll figure out how to do it yourself. Yeah, which is happening a lot these days. Is a lot of creators are out there. I think doing their own thing.
Yeah, I think that's where the maximum inventiveness and creativity in comics today.
Absolutely, always has.
Yeah,
it comes from those areas. So yeah.
So anyway,
all right.
So hey, buddy, that's what I got. What about yourself?
Not much happening with me. I've been doing my driving gig with the volleyballers, and this has been a rough year for them. They've had ups and downs all year, and just yesterday they played 2 different games. Won one, lost the other. So, and that's kind of the way it's been all year. She's got the coach has got a really young team this year. The majority of the team is freshmen. Has 1 senior.
Wow.
And then, sophomores and juniors. So, she lost a handful of her seniors this year. So it's been a rough, because when you have a young team like that, they don't have the built-in confidence that an older team will have. They've worked together for years. Having a couple of new ones come in is not that big a deal. But when you've got a majority of your players are new, they don't have the confidence of that an older team would have. So they've struggled a little this year, but the improvement has been incredible. They went from being really, really rough to, man, they're really good now. But they stumble every once in a while because it's still a young team. But man, are they good! So, and this is one of the things that I enjoy every year is driving them to some of their games. I go to the home games as well too, and cheer them on. But yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. And I can't think of much else that's going on in this world. We're starting to gear up for the holidays, starting with Halloween coming up in the next day or two. The grandkids are going to come by with wearing their costumes and show those off. That's always fun. You know, they're she's 4 and 2. So yeah, 3 now 4 and 2 are their ages. So yeah, it's fun. And then we've got new granddaughter Ophelia. She got christened this last weekend. So that's the kind of stuff going on at the moment with us. Mostly family stuff. And but that's important. And as an old retired guy, it's nice that I have time where I can go off and do these things.
So
whereas when I was working, it was fitting everything in.
I'm curious. I mean, obviously, you and I are working on the Boston Bombers Volume 2 comic project, which you are knocking it out of the park, Rob. Every page is making me want to cry. They're so beautiful. Okay. Well, you're working on, issue number 3. I've written issue number 4. It's going to be a great, great package when it's all wrapped up and you get, issue to issue. I also know, though, you're working on a top secret project for Silverline. Can you discuss any of that at all, or is it
what I can say about it right now is that it's stalled.
Okay.
Because I first of all, our inker, Barbara Kahlberg, she's had to pull out of it so that she could put all of her energies into her book Divinity. She's also been having some arthritic problems with her hand, so she has to be careful about how much work she does that way. So it's the crap we deal with when we get old. I mean, look, I wear a glove like this whenever I'm in the studio, just to cut down on any possible strain of the muscles in my hand. And the writer, I think, hit a wall. And so it's stalled at the moment. It's been months since I finished up the first issue, but I haven't seen even a script for the second issue yet. I think he's still struggling with that. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I know who your writer is, and I believe he's just moved into a new home.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would take up. Yeah, there's what is it? There's the old saying about the things that wear on you the worst in this life are moving and divorce.
Amen.
Amen.
I will not argue.
You know what? I agree, because I've done both, and yes, moving and divorce are two of the most debilitating emotional things you can do in your life. Yeah, they're rough.
They really
are. So I fully understand what's going on with him if that's what's going on. But yeah, it's stalled at the moment, and I go through that. Well, I want that second script, and then I go, well, this is we're not at Marvel, we're not at DC, we don't have deadlines. We just have to. When it comes in, it comes in, and when it comes in, and I'm busy doing something else, they're going to have to wait. So I've waited for them. They may have to wait for me. Well, so fingers crossed it'll come in at a time when I really need something to fill my time in. I've got a hole that can stuff with that. So we'll see. But that's essentially where it is right now. So I can't say any more about it than that, because I don't know when it's going to actually come out, because again, we've only got one issue finished, and it's going to be, I think it was supposed to be at least 4 and maybe as much as 6 parts. I think it's a 4-part. That's usually what Roland does, is 4 parts at Silverline. So
Roland, I think, stepped out of his comfort zone when I first pitched him Beyond the Stars.
Because you went 6. Yeah.
So here's the kicker with that, which I want to just bring everybody up to snuff. Issue 5 is finished. Issue 5 has been finished for a while. It's a case of Roland's trying to squeeze it into his all too busy schedule. Okay. Again, this is what happened. Again, it happens with small publishers.
I mean, he just finished a crowdfunder not long ago.
Yes, he did. Right.
I sent somebody bought, I did a cover. I did pencils of a cover, and I sent that off, just earlier this week.
Yeah.
So he's just now started. And I just got my copies today.
So it's on his schedule. Okay. It's just a case of Andrea and I having to be patient to get it out. And I can tell all the people who've been supporting it and bought the first 4 issues. Again, like I said, 5 looks beautiful. It's in the wings. As soon as Roland fits it into that schedule, we'll get it up there for his funding program. And Andrea, the last I looked, Andrea is up to I think page number 16 in issue number 6.
So you're moving in on the end of that thing.
I am actually seeing pages of the last issue, Rob, of something that right now is going on maybe 2.5 years to get wrapped up. But wow, that's a satisfying feeling. Okay. And working with Andrea has been a joy. This is his first ever American comic book. And that's what's got him excited about it as well, because again, 35-year pro, but he's worked mostly in Europe, Italian, Spain, Germany, French, those kind of comics. And again, his first American work. So thanks to all you supported it. And that's the answer to where's issue 5. It's done, people. It's coming your way. Thank you for your patience.
Silverline is almost a one-man operation. I mean, he's got people helping him out.
Yeah.
But it's mostly Roland doing all the work. But he's also he's a college professor on top of that. So, and I the thing is, I see him on online. I'll be on Facebook, and it shows who else is online, and he's on there at 1:00 in the morning. I'm getting ready for bed, and here he is. Or I'll get a message from him, and it's timed for 2:00 in the morning, my time, which would be 3:00 in the morning his, because I'm in the central zone and he's in the eastern. So, and I'm going, is this guy, does he sleep? So yeah, he's a very busy guy. He's fitting it all in.
I don't know about old soldiers, but I'm going to tell you one thing: old comic book creators never retire. They might say they're retired, but that's a rock. All right, we're still working on that.
Yeah, it's because it's what we do. It's what we do. I'd be doing it if I didn't have somebody publishing it. I'd have pages piling up behind me anyway, doing comic book work because I love it. I love it. I love it.
Me too. All
right.
And what I don't love is stinky jokes. It keeps me turning.
Well, here comes one. Yeah, I found this earlier today. A number of years ago, the Seattle Symphony was doing Beethoven's Ninth under the baton of Milton Katims. At this point, you must understand 2 things. There's a long segment in this symphony where the bass violins don't have a thing to do. Not a single note or page after page in the. Number 2, there used to be a tavern called Dez's 400 right across the street from the Seattle Opera House, rather favored by local musicians. It had been decided during this performance that after the bass players had played their parts in the opening of the ninth, they were to quietly lay down their instruments and leave the stage, rather than sit on their stools looking and feeling dumb for 20 minutes. Once they got backstage, someone suggested that they trot across the street and quaff a few brews. After they had downed the first couple of rounds, someone said, "Shouldn't we be getting back? It'd be awfully embarrassing if we were late." Another, presumably the one who suggested this excursion in the first place, replied, "Oh, I anticipated we could use a little more time, so I tied a string around the last pages of the conductor's score. When he gets down to there, Milton's going to have to slow the tempo way down while he waves the baton with one hand and fumbles with the string with the other. So they had another round and finally returned to the opera house, a little tipsy by now. However, as they came back on stage, one look at the conductor's face told them they were in serious trouble. Katims was furious. And why not? After all, it was the bottom of the ninth, the score was tied, and the bases were loaded.
I saw as a baseball guy. Oh.
I figured that was appropriate.
Please.
I figured that was appropriate with the World Series going on. And I laughed out loud when I read it. So it was the bottom of the ninth, the score was tied, and the bases were loaded.
Oh.
Oh.
There you go, loyal airman. All right, we warned you. We did warn you. All right.
Another hour that you can't get back.
And hey, thanks for stopping by as ever. Rob, I think we pretty much covered a whole bunch of stuff.
We've covered, yeah, and we hadn't done this for a while, so there was a lot to cover. But Chief Engineer Rob Davis signing off.
And as ever, Captain Ron is only too glad to say, down ship.